morning, everyone. Hello.
Good morning.
Hi. Is that loud enough?
Yeah.
Thank you. My name is Stephanie. Actually, today is my first time to be an MC, so bear with me. Thank you, everyone. This morning, they come in this Saturday morning, for a special event. I believe you're not going to be regretted. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Today is a very special event. We have people flying all over from Southern California all the way up to Portland, Oregon. Today we're going to present a very special opportunity in health and wellness space. Now, before we started, there are three things I need you to help me out. Number one, please silence your phone. Can we all do that? Thank you.
Yes.
Number two, hold all your questions to the end. We will be around to answer your question. And number three is important, open-minded. When you open yourself, you will get know more about threes. All right, thank you. Right now, I would like to bring up our first speaker, and today's speaker is an international traveler. He is into this space for over 30 years, and he built a huge business with multi-billion dollars business opportunity. So we are so lucky today to have him fly all the way from San Diego to be here with us. So please welcome Mr. Lance Smith.
Great job, by the way.
Thank you.
First time as MC, that's fine.
Yeah, good.
Thank you.
That's great, good job.
All right.
Okay, how's everybody doing this morning?
Good.
Good. Well, good, you guys gonna have some energy this morning?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I had a 3:45 wake-up call this morning to get up here. So I'm Lance Smith, I'm from San Diego, and I was gonna fly up here last night, but we had to change some plans around, so I flew up this morning, and it's great to be here with you guys. I'm gonna go over the opportunity is what we're gonna start off with, and I love this part of it because I sat in a room like this a bunch of years ago, and I was at a point where I was frustrated, I was broke, and I was looking for something else, and somebody got up there and shared some ideas and kind of went through an opportunity like what we're gonna share here. And, you got there in a second. I thought it was my laptop that did that. To say it changed my life would be an understatement. For the last 32 years, we've been full-time in the industry. We absolutely love what we do. We've been blessed financially. Anyway, we'll talk a little about that. But if you're here for the first time and you're a prospect, I hope you kind of stick with me. So let me tell you a little bit about our story, then I'll get into the details. So, any of you here ever been broke before?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I met my wife in San Diego when I was 19 years old. She came back and she was working. I was working in a sporting goods department. She was the new cashier, and fell in love with her right away. I thought this girl's great. She likes to fish. I'm an outdoor guy, so I like to hunt and fish. I said this will be great. So I told her for the next 4 years. I said, if you marry me one day, we're going to travel the world. I'm going to buy you a big house. You're going to have nice cars, and you can shop whenever you want. And I think the shopping thing did her in, and so she said I do, and she married me. And I went to work. I actually worked at any of you remember a company called Gemco? Department Stores? Yeah, that's where we met, with the Gemco Department Stores. That's how old I am. Oh yeah, the original Target. And that company closed, and I actually, right as we met, it closed, and I got a notice in the mail one day that says, we're going to lay you off along with 17,000 other people, and we'll give you a severance check if you stick around to the very end. And this was back in 1986. And I stuck around for 6 months, worked real hard. Tracy gave up and went and became a bank teller. And my severance check was less than my car payment. It was a few $100. That was the severance check they gave me after baiting me for 6 months. And it kind of ticked me out. So anyway, long story short, we ended up getting married. I went to work at a lumber company in San Diego called Dixieline Lumber. And I got broke. I moved in a little house that was probably smaller than this room. I had my car wouldn't turn off, and hers wouldn't start, and so that's kind of where we were at. I had a job that I didn't like. I had a boss that, when he said jump, you had to say how high, and if you didn't, he'd work you extra hours or overtime. And it really kind of came to a head one day, probably 2 years after we were married. I came home and my Tracy was in tears because creditors were calling her, and she looked at me afterwards and she said, you know, it wasn't supposed to be like this. And I took it like, you know, you screwed up, because that's the way I took it. I internalized it. I said, you know what, you're right. I do need to do something different. I don't know if you've ever been that point in your life where you think, you know what, I've got to do something different than what I'm doing right now. Because I can't control what happened in the past, but I can have a say in how this story ends. And so I looked and I said, you know what, let's go look at something. And so I spent the next 6 months to a year looking at everything. I looked at vending machines, I looked at franchises, I looked at golf course driving ranges, laundromats, you name it. And kind of got halfway in a couple of them, but then somebody invited me to see this idea of network marketing. And I'll tell you that it wasn't what I was looking for. It wasn't on my radar. I didn't learn about it in school. But they said, you know what, you know, you can get involved in something, and it's a small risk to get involved, and it has a potential big reward. You don't have to quit your job. You don't have to mortgage your house. You don't have to quit and come up with a whole new career. You don't have to do all those things. You just really got to go out and kind of talk to people and share an idea. And I thought, you know what, if I get involved in this and it doesn't work, the worst that'll happen is I'll maybe get healthier with the products that I've got and maybe find some new friends, you know, or be able to network. But I thought, man, if it does work and I don't get in, you know, I might miss out on something huge. And that right there was the decision that, you know, we said, let's do it. And I'd love to say we got rich real quick. We didn't. I'll share with that a little bit later this afternoon. You know, it set us on a pathway where it absolutely changed our lives. And you know, it didn't come in right. The first year, I think, was just pretty much practice. I made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of them twice just to make sure they were wrong the first time. I didn't have someone like a Samson or a Kim right around to say, hey, you're messing up. And so we kind of floundered for a while, but I saw people succeeding. I saw people working, and I thought, you know what? Compared to what I'm doing, the people who are successful at this seem a whole lot happier than the people that are successful where I work. And there really weren't a lot of people successful at work. And I thought, you know what? If there's a shot to do it, if one person can, anybody can. And I remember talking to my mentor. I says, "Can I do it?" And he looked at me, and I was young. I was in my early 20s. He says, "No." He said, "But you can change and you can grow." And I said, "Okay, well, if that's what it takes, then that's what we've got to do." And the rest has been kind of a fun ride. That led us to a couple of billion-dollar companies. We built up a couple of billion-dollar companies, and I appreciate you mentioning that. And we've had a great time. But we came to the point in 2022. We were with a company that another platform with Samson and Kim. And it became very apparent to me, you know, I'd been doing this for a long time, and I'd been with lots of executives, lots of owners, and I'm not going to say anything bad about the company. It was very apparent the owners were looking for a pathway out, and they didn't want to do it anymore. And I thought, you know what, at this point in my life, you know, if I'm going to do something, I really want to find the right thing. And in 2022, I had a health challenge that woke me up, and I said, you know what, we got to go find something. And that journey in 2022 led us to a meeting with Samson and Kim. And led us to Daniel, and led us to kind of start this whole process. And I will tell you before I even get started, I mean, because I know a lot of you here are already in the business, that there's no place I'd rather be in the world than right here at Three, with the people that we're partnered with and where we're at with the with the executive team and et cetera. So with that, let me get into the details, and we'll get going. So Three itself, again, started conceptually in 2022. We launched in 2023. It was based on the idea of some people coming together. And when I sat down with Kim and Samson, it was what was so great about it, even though we were in separate groups before, I sat down and said, here's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a company that does this thing right. I'm looking for a company that's honest. I'm looking for a CEO or an owner who will tell it like it is. We're looking for somebody. I want to build a long-term legacy company. I don't want to build something small. In 2 months, I turned 59 years old. And again, I've done this for 36 years, so I don't want to do it again. I don't want to start over again. And so if I do this, I want to do it one time and really knock it out of the park. I said, I want to find that kind of company. And Samson had the same thoughts. Kim said the same thing. And what's amazing is over that pathway, with Roush and a lot of the other leaders that kind of came together, if you take the top 20 or so folks over here, there's probably, 15 to 20, Kim and Samson alone, at 10, 12, 15 billion, somewhere in that range, you take all of it. There's a lot of experience that's come together, and that's really what started Three International. That was the foundation of it. And again, we wanted to build a global business. We wanted to have something around the world. Coming off of COVID, it was amazing. And there's still people. How many of you know people who are still kind of in the COVID funk? They went into a hole, and they haven't crawled out of it yet. And that's sad. I'm trying to wake people up every day on social media, or my friends just like, hey, let's get out. COVID's over. You don't have to stay home and watch Netflix anymore. There's a whole life ahead of you. And it's amazing because you ever read the statistic that when somebody retires, the average lifespan is like 18 to 24 months after they retire, because what happens is when you give up a purpose, you don't have a purpose anymore. That's really where your body starts just kind of slowing itself down. And you know, for me, my goal is to live to 120 something years old, and when I die, I want to be on a beach somewhere with my 10-year game plan and my self-help book, and that's where I want to be. So anyway, the global field leadership is the best I've ever seen. And so let's go with Daniel real quick. You know, Daniel is a guy that again, being with $3 billion companies, working with the owners and working with the executive teams of all these different companies, it takes a special type of person to actually go build a company that's going to be a legacy company. Morally, they got to be grounded. Ethically, they got to be grounded. They got to be young enough to where they have energy to want to build something big. The great thing about Daniel is he had success in the past, you know, in his past ventures, and he came over here to this space and he wants to build $1 billion brand. That's what you're looking for. You're looking for somebody, I mean, the mid-40s, which is kind of nice. So he's not looking to go ahead and, you know, sail away on the ship like our previous owners. The last platform we had are very grateful to have Daniel in place. Dr. Dan, one of a kind. Never seen somebody like him in this space. I'm not really a science guy, as you'll see when I go through the product. But it's so cool to have someone like Dr. Dan be able to explain the really concept thing, you know, the harder concepts behind molecules and all the different things that they do, and have him explain it to where it's actually interesting. You know, our first event, we went to Dr. Dan. I looked at the schedule, and there was 2 hours for the doctors at the advisory panel. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm gonna bring a pillow. And I will tell you, but looking back, it was probably the best part of the whole event that I went to, and we love Dr. Dan. And then Troy Moore is our COO. From there, what we've got is we've got a model called cross-border social e-commerce, and our phase markets, our phase 1 markets, you can see them down below. And I'll go more into the opportunity here in just a minute. But what we're looking for a couple of types of people. We're looking for people who want a business opportunity, and that's certainly the spot that we're at. And there's a lot of people out there looking right now. It's funny, I came over here in the Uber with a guy that comes from somewhere in Africa. I can't remember what country it was. He's been over here 9 years, and he looks at me and he says, "Are you successful?" I said, "I've done okay." And he says, "Give me some advice on how to become successful." And so we got a conversation going, and I got his name, and you know, there, you know, on my phone. He had another somebody else to pick up. But it's cool. There's a lot of people out there looking, and there's a lot of people out there right now that are praying for something. I was talking to Tracy today, and she said she was looking at, she's one of these that likes to thrift stuff. I mean, she likes to look at stuff, and she says people are so broke right now. They're selling their clothes. They're selling everything that they got just to make payments right now. And you guys know how hard it is in California. If they're not looking, I mean, either they're very wealthy or they should be looking, because you just never know. I mean, that's what COVID really uncovered for everybody. Is there were a lot of people I knew that, you know, I've shared an opportunity of having a second income, and a lot of people wouldn't even look until COVID hit. And then COVID opened their eyes, and a lot of people looked and said, you know what, I've got to do something else. It's not I mean, the ones that didn't ended up losing their houses or living in Arizona right now, heaven forbid. I'm just kidding, if you're from Arizona, sorry. We're looking for people who want better health, and we're looking for people who want to network with like-minded people. So that's our target market. Our approach to wellness, you know, the old paradigm is reactive wellness. You are what you eat. Your DNA is your blueprint. Those are kind of the old paradigms. The new paradigms are proactive wellness. You know, a lot of times we don't worry about our health until we have to. And the problem with that is a lot of times it's kind of at that point you go to the traditional route, and it's so much better. You know, I was listening to Tracy. She was doing a seminar yesterday, 2 days ago, and she made a point that I often make, is that when we all have problems in life. We may have 10, 15, 20 problems in life. When you have a health problem, you have one problem in life. You know, that really, it changes everything. And I'll tell you, for me, that's what happened in 2022. You are what you absorb. A lot of the things that we've taken, the supplements over the years, I mean, really flush right through you, you know, and it makes your urine yellow, really bright yellow, but it doesn't do a whole lot else. I mean, that's what a lot of these supplements out there do. We just put somebody in a couple days ago that she'd been using the collagen off the shelf, and she said, I can't even notice this. Yeah, I didn't even notice the difference. She said, I got on your guys' collagen, and I don't know what the difference is, but I'm absolutely totally different. I feel totally different inside and outside. And I said, well, you can actually absorb ours, which is a key part. And so the future is proactive wellness and epigenetics, and that's really where we're at right now. So this is our scientific advisory board. I love these guys. They're fantastic. They're great. The cool thing about them is they do it for free. They understand the cause, the mission, that what we're trying for, and realize that you know, it's funny because the later you go in life. You know, for us, you know, once you get past the point of financial freedom, you hit a point of financial impact, and that's what the difference you can make in the lives of other people around you. And what's so cool about all of these people is they've committed to do this for free to help people, live a healthier life and get to the point where they don't have to deal with the health challenges. And again, we're very, very grateful for them. So there's 3 pillars of technology, and I usually have my wife here with me. And by the way, we had a health issue at home with one of my daughter's mother-in-laws, and so she's not here. And so I'm going to go through this fairly quick, but I know I'm going to bring Dr. Bob Green up here in a minute. He's going to, or in a little bit, he's going to go more into the product. But there's 3 pillars: exploration, curation, and absorption. That really what makes us stand out. What's cool about it is we are third-party tested, which I have not been with companies that like to third-party test. And why do you suppose that is?
Exposure.
Because it exposes that they probably aren't doing what they say that they're doing. And what I love about this one is we actually have the, I know how I feel, but when you're involved in this kind of an industry and you say, well, I feel great because of it, people are like, well, yeah, you're making money, so I'd feel better too if I was making more money doing what you do. But the truth of the matter is we actually have products that make a difference in people's lives, and it's my full-time job today is listen to people tell me about the different products. That's really where I learned the most about the products. That people tell me, man, I take this one, this is what did it for me. And, I mean, how many of you here have felt the difference on some of the products? Okay, how many in here have had a life-changing where it's just like, this has changed my life because of these products? Okay, that's a lot of hands right there. And you can't pay for that, but that's why we're drawing a crowd right now. And it's really cool to again have the products and have the science to back it. We've got a cellular absorption study, epigenetic study, and a superoxide study. Here are the different products that we've got. And again, Bob's going to come up in a little bit. He's going to go into more depth into them. We've got the Vitalite. I take every morning, got it by my desk. I'm one of those guys that if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, so I have to have it right there next to me every morning. But it's funny because all of my kids, my grandkids, we got 5 grandkids now. I've got 4 kids, 5 grandkids, and I got another grandkid that's going to come in another couple of months. And they all have been sick the last few months. And because we've had a few things at the house, the grandkids keep coming over to our house, or we end up at their house, and their mom and dads are sick. Everyone around them is sick, but Tracy and I are bulletproof, which is kind of a cool thing. They're like, oh, sorry, bring them over. They're kind of sick. I'm fine, bring them over. I got my vitamins, my supplements to help me through it, and that the Vitality is a big part of it. Revive is a big one. Tracy and I went for a walk the other day, and it was going to be a 2-mile walk. It ended up being about a 6-mile walk. Revive is the one that kind of helps out after that, all the bones and the joints. The Immune is a really good one. That's obviously one that we use to help fend off all the stuff that's out there. The Purify, it's a fantastic detox. I've been with companies before where we had some detox products where you couldn't get 100 yards away from the toilet. I mean, this one's great. It's natural. It detoxifies 5 different organs. The Eternal is the Rejuvenator. This one's got resveratrol, 200 milligrams of it. It's, we were with our other platform, and we had one that we sold billions of dollars worth of the other one. And it wasn't even close to the product that we have over here from a taste standpoint and from what it's able to do. And so we're really grateful to have that. And then the collagen, as I said, is a fantastic product. And so those are the products, and absolutely love them. This one's out of my wheelhouse, so but these are great products we just came out with. We launched a couple of different ones, and they're fantastic. My wife loves them. She puts them on me, whatever. And yeah, anyway, it's all great. So fantastic. They got some studies that go along with it, but it's really kind of cool to have a neurocosmetic. I've never really heard of something like that before, obviously, because it's never been done before. But something with the skin-brain connection. Pretty cool story to tell. That you look better and you feel better, and actually it comes from the same bottle, which is a very cool thing. So, okay, so let's go talk about the business part. Now, if all you did was get involved and try the products, that would be a good thing. And certainly if you're in, I recommend you try them all. A lot of people say, which one's your best one? I take them all, so I don't know which one's doing what, but I know I feel better than I have in a long time. And so I love that part of it. But what we've got is, so that's the product side. The income side is really what I was looking for. Because again, how many of you ever heard that money doesn't buy happiness? But would you all agree that broke doesn't buy happiness either?
Correct.
And I remember sitting there years ago, I thought, I hear people say that, and usually it was broke people that kept saying that. But I thought, you know what, I'd like to try it and see what it's like to have some income. And if I don't like it, I know how to get back to here. And so, so when I was looking down this pathway, I looked at this model right here. And what's so cool about this model is it really has changed the way business has been done. And let me just kind of hit something real quick. There's 2 big trends that have happened in the last 30 years that really have helped our industry. Trend number 1 is that the stores like Gemco are going away. If you go to a mall, they're going away. If you go to a retail stores, they're kind of struggling. They're having a tough time. And even the ones that are standing, most of their volume is typically online if they're still around. A lot of Amazon sellers or these little mom and pops, they just don't have enough people going through them. It really has got to the point where, I was laughing the other day, how many of you had a smartphone? I used to have an office that was 1,600 square feet. It's actually now a game room with pool table, shuffleboard, all that kind of stuff, poker table. And on that, there was a big desk. There was a phone that was plugged into the wall. There was a fax machine. There was a copier. There's all of this stuff all there. And one by one, all of those things ended up right here.
Yep.
And this could go with me anywhere. And so my model changed from having a big office at a desk and sitting behind a Rolodex to having something right here. Well, the same has happened through retail. And the other big trend that's happened through retail or through in the last bunch of years is advertising. How you advertise a product. You have a product that comes out, how do you get it advertised? Well, you have a product like the serums that we've got, the super serum that we just had come out, and the different ones. How do you get the word out there? Well, years ago, it'd be you go spend millions of dollars and pay some celebrity to come out and endorse it for you. And you put it on TV, put it on a 30-second ad in the Super Bowl, and spend $7 million or whatever they spend nowadays. And those days are gone. The celebrities don't really have the clout they used to have. And so, probably 10 or 15 years ago when YouTube came around and some of these others, a lot of the marketing went to those, to the influencers, the big influencers that were online. People that had podcasts, the Joe Rogan types, that kind of stuff. But even then, the change has really shifted through COVID. I think probably it's a trust issue, but people don't trust a lot of people that are celebrities or that are influencers anymore. The big thing today is the micro influencers, is the people like you or me, the people that have got 100 or 200 or 1,000 connections, people that you know and trust, because studies show that you're 80% more likely to listen to advice from someone you know and trust than you are a celebrity or an influencer. And those two things have really kind of come together to where people want to hear what you're doing, and they want to hear from somebody that they know and trust. I'll give you an example. I've got a buddy of mine who lost a bunch of weight probably a year and a half ago. And went and dropped 75 pounds. Looks great, fantastic. Everybody around him, he has a pretty good sphere. Everyone around him says, how do you do it? He said, well, I went to GNC and I bought this product, I bought that product, I bought this product, I bought that product. Did his friends go buy those products? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did. And did they help? Yeah, they did. And they told their friends. And so my friend has probably over the last year and a half done hundreds of thousands of dollars in volume for GNC. Guess how much he gets paid for that? Zero. Okay, we're able to take that with this model. That's what I love about this model. We're able to take that and monetize it, because you're all doing it anyway. You do it whether you're here, you do it no matter what. If you go see a good movie, you tell people about it. If you go to a good restaurant, you tell people about it. You just don't get paid. Everybody, they're amateurs out there. Our industry allows us to monetize that, to where you can try a product you like, you can go out there and do it as from an affiliate model, and be able to get a commission from that, and that's a good thing. And so what's cool about our business is we've got, for $30, literally, think about this, you got a robust replicated website that's e-commerce ready. You got a back office that manages and tracks your business in 15 different countries. And again, we'll blow this out over the next 10 or 15 years to all around the world. We have marketing and media tools to promote your business. We have trainings and support for a global community, just like we've got right here. I mean, literally, when I saw this, I was comparing this to franchises. That was, $75,000 was the cheapest one I found, up to a couple $1 million from Panera Bread. Well, I couldn't do those. I was looking at the laundromat. So I'm thinking, for $30, we have this. and I mean, I had one of my kids one time. They said, I don't really understand what we do. You just go out and talk to people and make money? I said, yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much it. I mean, back in the day, 30 years ago, 14, you probably would know that we used to have to handle stuff. We had to call stuff in, fax orders, to hand out checks. I mean, now it's referral. It's all it is referral marketing, which is cool. And to be able to have this type of technology in place, because those trends came together, really puts us at the right place at the right time. I know Sam's going to go over the commissions a little bit later. So I'll hit these real quickly. You all know them. The first way to make money is a retail commission. My wife goes and gets collagen. First day she's in, she does a 3-day before and after. Puts a link before her on her pictures on Facebook, and puts the link to her website. And literally within 5-10 minutes, I got $17.50 in my wallet, or I got an email that we got $17.50. And I asked Tracy, I said, "What's that?" And she says, "It's mine." And here, anytime I put them, they're all mine. So that thing's been clicking for almost 2 years now. She's, I bet I've got probably 10 of those messages this week alone, just because she's real good at out there promoting what it is we do. So that's the retail commissions, 25% back on the order. We have an introductory bonus. If somebody gets involved and joins your business, from $25 to $300, you get a commission that comes back on them, depending on what package they buy when they get involved. There's a referral, or there's a commission override, which is, and Samson will explain it, just simplify it. You have two teams. Everybody who gets involved that wants to build a business or move the product, they go down one of these two teams. Once you get a certain amount of volume on each side, you have something called a cycle. And that cycle goes from $35 to $45. It happens in real time. And you can cycle up to 500 times a week. And if you're good and you have some width in place and your volume structured right, it can go up to $45 a cycle. So that's a big amount. And that's really where a lot of the income comes from, is that commission override. The next one is a referral matching bonus, which is one I like, because what referral matching bonus does is it pays you for helping other people make money. And if you get really good at helping other people make money, you're going to make money. And as an example, if you got someone involved and they were, you personally got them involved, and let's say they made $1,000 in a month, you're going to make somewhere between 20% and 30%, depending on how your business is structured. So you're going to make $200 to $300 not coming from them, coming from the company, because you help get them involved and you help work with them. Is that good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, what if that person made $10,000 in a month?
Even better.
$2,000 to $3,000 a month for helping somebody make $10,000 a month. Is that good? Or is that, yeah? Let's say they maxed out the comp plan. Let's say they're making $100,000 a month.
I'm happy.
Could you make with $20,000 to $30,000 a month? Would that change your life at all? Okay, that could absolutely be a life-changing event. And you know, the cool thing about it, so I looked at the people who got me involved years ago. I said, so you mean to tell me that you're going to come down and you're going to help me make money? You're not going to charge me, and if I don't make money, you don't make money. And they said, yep. I said, okay, go ahead. And they did, and that's the reason why we're here. I mean, how much did Samson charge y'all for coming up here, or how much do we charge you for coming up here? Oh, he didn't tell you? Oh, we'll give you a bill on the way. No, I'm kidding. You're like, wait, hold up. So anyway, I love that part about it, and it really is the people. One of the most successful guys I've ever had on my team is a guy who was in San Diego. He was a contractor, and he had made he'd probably made $5 or $6 million, and he had a bunch of kids, and they were all waiting for him to die. And he says, I'm going to get involved in your business, not because I need the money, but I want to teach my kids about business ownership, and I want to have them have a legacy. And so he went and spent the next couple of years helping his kids make a bunch of money. And he was one of the top income earners. He close to almost 7 figures with us. And he says, he looked at me, we recognized him as the top rank, and he says, I really didn't get in for this. I said, no, you didn't, but your motives were right. Your motives were right. You didn't get into it so you could help. You got involved to help other people, and that's one of the reasons why you've done as well as you've done, which is a cool thing about that bonus. There's a global bonus pool, and there's a global founders pool that come in, and those are both fantastic as well, and it's a percentage of the growth of the company. We've got some great trips, and we're going to have a couple announcements about some new trips coming up in the next month or two. I'm excited about those. The France and Monaco trip, the 6-star trip is great. So you got 2 options to get involved if you're brand new. One is to become a retail customer, which you can certainly do, and the next one is to become a business builder, and that's one that I certainly recommend. There's a couple of packages you can choose from. There's 2 intro packages now that you can pick from, and they give you a basic idea of the products. The premium pack comes in, and you've got each of the different products, which is a fantastic one. And to get with a person who invited you, and they can get in where you can fit in. But I will tell you that when you look at a package and you really want to get started, I would stretch, because you're getting, I mean, literally. I'm looking at franchises, I'm looking at all these other things years ago, and you look at the cost of any kind of business out there, and I even put a post-it in, I saw 14, people look and go, $1,500 for a cell phone, I'll spend that all day long. $1,500 for oh no, I don't want to do that. And I look at it, and it's silly, because you look at the potential of what this is able to do. Years ago I said yes to about a $1,500 pack. And the millions of dollars that have been generated, I mean, the $1 billion in volume have been generated over the last 30-something years because of that. And I thank God every day that we did. And so get where you can fit in. There's a business builder pack, and then there's the pro collection. And just the last kind of thing, wrapping this up from an opportunity, then we're going to have a couple of guests come up here and speak, is that if you're doing really great in life, and you're making all the money that you want, and you got your goals lined up, and you're all hitting, you're hitting your high water marks. I love seeing success, and I really don't care where it is, as long as it's done right, it's ethical, legal. I have lots of friends inside this space, outside this space, that are very well very well financially, and so I'm the first to cheer them on. They always laugh. They say, "You always cheer us on," even though we're not even in your industry. And it's like, well, I like seeing people win. I like seeing people at the top of their game. And if that's you, then at least get in to get the products, because you want to live a long time. But if it's not you, and you were somewhere where I was like, oh man, I'm frustrated, I'm broke, I don't know I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what to do. And I got my wife telling me that, hey, you lied to me. You told me you're going to have a good life, and I'm shopping at the dollar store, and I have a car that won't run. The way I look at it, I see you got three options. Option number one is to keep doing what you're doing. But how many of you would agree that if you always do what you've always done, you're going to always get what you've always gotten? And there's a lot of people out there. I mean, I live off the 15, and I don't know these freeways out here, but I'm guessing if you look at someone about 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon in a car next to you, they aren't happy. And there's a lot of people out there that, ultimately, not making a decision actually becomes a decision. When you decide you decide not to do something, you may not decide, but you just decided. And there's a lot of people that are miserable and happy. And who was it? Benjamin Franklin said most people die when they're 21 and they're just not buried until they're 85 or 90. There's a lot of people out there that are just kind of they just don't have a lot to look forward to. So that would be one option. I don't recommend it. Number two would be change careers. Bite the bullet and go switch jobs up. This Uber driver I was talking to, he wants to become a nurse, and so he's trying to tell me this pathway he's going to go through. And he said, "You got any advice for me?" I said, "Well, work hard, and everybody else is going to give up because there's going to be a lot of people going in that pathway, and a lot of them aren't going to make it. But the ones that stick around are the ones that are going to get through." And you can make that kind of a change, but for a lot of people, they can't quit their jobs. They can't do all that kind of stuff. But you can't stay the same. And if you don't do that, then do something major. Or the third option would be to join us. And that was the option I chose, 30-something years ago. I looked and said, you know what? I could go learn a different career. I could go down a different pathway. But these guys seem like they're really excited and they're willing to help. And so why don't we give it a shot and see what happens? And very, very grateful. There's not a day that goes by, I don't think, that we made that decision and got in. And it was a weak one. It wasn't like, we'll just try it for 6 months. That was really kind of how it started. But very, very thankful. And I know Sam's story the same. I know the successful people in this industry, it's all kind of the same. It's just a thin thread that kind of led us together, and we liked what we saw. We liked the outcome, and here we are. And so if you're new, I challenge you to come join us. I think it'll be the best decision. And so with that, I'm going to bring up a couple of people who have made a decision to join us and have them speak for just a couple of minutes real quick. So I have RB, if you can come up, Fotine, if you can come up, VB, if you can come up, and Dr. Lena, if you can come up. That'd be great. All right, how you doing? Good to see you. Good.
I'm first? I thought ladies was first. Give yourselves a hand. Come on now. Just for being here, just being here is a big first step. And you're in the right place at the right time. Good to meet you too, sir. My name is Royale Babe David Howard Faustin. Can you repeat that? It's long, so I'm going by David Howard. That's easier, right? Right, okay. So I got a call one night from my kid's mom. And she was like, hey, I just, she has some issues, some physical issues, back and stuff like that, stuff that we all experience, knees. So she said, I just started taking these products and they're amazing, and I want you to try them. So she gave me a dose for pretty much a month. It didn't even take a month. Now let me give you a little history real quick. I was in two motorcycle accidents, one in 2019, one in 2020. The first one was a T-bone. Someone pulled out into the intersection out of turn, and I ran right into him, went over the top, and landed on my back. And when I opened my eyes, I was like, no freaking way. Everyone always say, don't ride a motorcycle because you're gonna get in an accident. I never endorsed that, but you can get in an accident anywhere. So anyway, I'm on my back and I'm like, wow, boom, because that's the first one. Second one, I'm just going to a workshop. My bike skids, lose control, boom, bike goes that way, boom, I go that way and slam into the back of a car. Okay, I tell you those stories to tell you that I've been in pain, chronic pain, since the first accident. I have 4 kids, I never told them anything about it. So I'm just plowing through, eating good, eating plant-based, trying to stay away from the bad foods and all that stuff. And I'm still in pain, and then I go to the doctor, and what do they want to do?
Surgery.
Hey, take this, take that, take this, take that. My primary care doctor's like, take this, take that. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can start a pharmacy. Literally. So I didn't take any of the medicines. I said I'm gonna do this as much as I can holistically. So when Mila Konanen, she came to me with these products, I said, okay, give them to me. Boom. Took them 7 days, and I'm gonna end it on this. Took it 7 days, and I told the doctor this, and I realized that the pain was gone. And I was like, no, this is not placebo, because I know about placebo. This is not placebo. So is the mic off? You can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we got you.
Okay. So you go next.
I don't want that.
Okay. I'll put it right here. You can hear me though. Right.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you. So I took the product. I'm still taking them. It's been like a month and a couple of weeks. And I'm running. You know, I'm doing all these things. And I did that for my daughter, and she was like, Dad, why are you doing that? I was like, what else am I supposed to do? Like I was limping around, you know, seriously. So I'm super excited about this. You all should be super excited. You should get involved today. And I want to give thanks to my man here, Lance, RB, David Howard. So another thing too, I was here on time, but I have a van that can't go in the garage. So I'm like, there's no parking out here. So I was supposed to be here early to actually meet Vance. And so my apologies, but I found parking. I asked them to give me a parking permit. They let me park next door, so I'm here. Thank you so much. Give your leaders and your speakers a hand, please. And come join us. I'm in for the long haul.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. That's fabulous. Hi, everybody. And thank you for that wonderful testimonial. And thank you to Lance for your wonderful presentation. I'm Vivi Green. I'm from Palm Springs. I flew up yesterday with my adorable husband, Dr. Bob Green, who's going to be talking more about the products a little bit later on. But I just want to share with you, I get reclaimed telling anybody what happened to me the other day. We've been on the products, and the only one I hadn't been on was Revive. I don't know why, but I hadn't. I suffer from terrible pain, and I understand your pain, RB, because it really impacts you. I have very bad arthritis, and I've been in physical therapy since July, twice a week, and I love it, and it's really helped. But the pain was always there, particularly at night when I would try to roll over in bed. It would always wake me up. And the other night, I just was in really bad pain, and Dr. Bob takes good care of me. He says, honey, we're either going to get you some shots in your back of your spine. I went, oh God, no, I don't think so. Or pain management. And I said, you know, and he's been giving me narcotic shots in my butt, and I didn't want to do that anymore. And he says, look, will you just take this Revive, take 2 of them, and then go to sleep? And I said, okay. So I did that. And about 3 o'clock, as usual, I wake up and I'm gonna roll over, and I go, wait a second. And I did that again. And I said, wait a minute, am I dreaming? What's missing here? Oh, the pain, I don't have any pain.
Yeah.
I said, how can it be? So I said, no, I must be dreaming. So I rolled over again, no pain. I said, I'm gonna try that one more time. Tried it again, no pain. So I woke him up at 3 o'clock. I said, honey, what did you give me last night? He says, I gave you 2 Revive, go to sleep. So I did. And I woke up the next morning, and I always wake up with pain, either a little or a lot, but always some. And I had a physical therapy appointment that day. And I went into my wonderful therapist, and I couldn't even tell her. I was so tearful. And I said, I can't believe it. Crystal, I have no pain. I shouldn't even be here. Look at all these people who are in terrible pain. They need to know about this Revive stuff, because it's amazing. Yeah, and still here we are 3 days later. No pain, no Advil, no shots in my butt. I don't know, I'm not saying, you know, it worked for me amazingly. So I want to thank you for making me take it that night. So I want to also share with you what else happened. About a month ago, we went to Las Vegas to a training, saw you there and a number of other people, and I was kind of thinking, oh, you know, it might be a nice business. I used to own my own business. It was tax seminars. And I used to go drive to real estate offices and tell them about how they could reduce their taxes. through deductions, that, by the way, this company, you can do anything and write it off. Really, talk to me about that. So anyway, then I couldn't do that anymore because I developed a bad case of macular degeneration, which means I can't drive anymore. I can't even see. I've got to write in really big letters. And then the real estate market kind of died as well. So along with those two things, I decided to retire and go home and crochet, which I could do. I learned on YouTube how to crochet. And yeah, so I did that, and I had lunch with my friends, and they'd pick me up and drive me around to Costco. Really nice stuff. And I'm like, there's just something missing in my life, a little bit, because I've always had a purpose. And so I went to Las Vegas, and there's this woman on the stage, and she's telling her story. And she says, you know, I don't tell you this to impress you, but I was #1 in Mary Kay, you know, the makeup, you know. I did Mary Kay, she said, for 20-some years, and I made $20 million. And I'm like, whoa, really? And she says, yeah, and then they made me retire. And she says, I don't know, maybe they just don't want little old ladies putting makeup on people. I don't know, but they made me retire. And she says, so I decided, you know, I saw Three International, and I got invited to look at it. And she says, you know, that looks like a really good deal. The comp plan is amazing, and they're not going to make me retire. So she says, I got involved. She said, it's 2 years ago. And she says, and she's rocking it. I mean, this woman, Christine Peterson, and you know, she is rocking this thing. And she's like my inspiration. She's not in my upline or downline. I just love her. She's standing on the stage, and she says, I'm 82, and I'm not done yet.
Yes.
And you know what I said to myself? I'm going to be 82 in June, and I'm not done yet.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Lance. Thank you, Samson, for inviting me last night. My name is Fotine Halicus Kopriva, and some of you I know I saw last month, and I had the pleasure last night of having dinner with a number of folks that I really enjoyed. That was great. But I want to tell you a real quick story. I can tell you about pain. I can tell you about all kinds of stuff. In my life professionally, I opened 5 restaurants in 12 years, ran, operated those things, cleaned the toilet, did everything you could imagine, taught the staff from floor to ceiling what to do in a restaurant. So, hard work? Yes. Difficulties? Yes. Up and down situations. But here's what I want to show you, because I think pictures speak more than words. This was me when I was doing that. Okay? So, 68 plus pounds, more than where I am right now that you see today. Okay, so I just want to give you an idea. This woman wound up diabetic, hypertensive, high cholesterol, neuropathy in my feet, let's see what else. Oh, rheumatoid arthritis, and in so much pain in 2022, yes, 2022, that I was on 14 medications. Because every time you go to the doc, they're going to give you something else for the symptom that you're dealing with, but never a cure to fix what's going on. Now, I was raised in the restaurant business with my family. My mom was in network marketing for years, so I've been very exposed to network marketing for all my life. In fact, a company called Eureka Foods, we used to go all over the place and open up new areas. This was the Mylar packed foods before we ever came up with stuff you put in a microwave. And so anyways, long history there. And I had been always interested in health. I worked for Kaiser for 10 years of my life. And so I understood the background of medicine is what goes on. It's a business, okay? Used to drive me crazy because I used to tell the docs we need to do certain things, and of course they're not gonna listen to me. And I worked with some of the most arrogant doctors there ever were, including neurosurgeons and orthopedic surgeons, and anyways. So, long story short, I had been introduced to network marketing through nutritional supplementation and skincare in another platform that I was in for many years. So I tried to take good care of myself, but this body is not taking good care of itself. High stress, high energy. I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. So when you have a major problem, when it comes down to medical, you only have one problem in your life. Everything else kind of goes sideways, right? Well, that hit. When COVID hit, we got sick, we got better, no shots, no injections. But what happened was I wound up with massive inflammation in my body, which turned on every signal of everything. And that's why I wound up on 14 medications. Today I'm on 1. And so the reason I'm on 1 is because of major lifestyle changes. Number 1, dropping weight. I did have a gastric sleeve, which helped me to learn how to portion my food, not eat because I'm emotional, which is a big part of it, and then turn around and change my dietary intake, which included all of these products. But the first thing that I noticed, I was on collagen, or collagen. I had knees that were buckling. I have a service dog who's 6 years old. I don't have him with me. I don't need to have my service dog with me, although I'd love to bring him everywhere. Because I was falling down, and when I fell down, somebody's got to get up, right? Well, it's pretty hard to do when you're really overweight and not in good shape. And nobody's going to come help a large woman get off the floor, especially if they don't know what they're doing. So my dog's there to help. Well, lo and behold, collagen from our company, which is right here, this little pack. I started with 3 in February. Very first off, when we opened the doors, I got a call from a friend of mine and said, hey, Fontaine, take a look at this. I know you love science, and that's what brought me to the company, was truly the science behind the company. But this product, I've been taking collagen from Sam's Club and Costco for 2 years, mixing it in everything because my knees were bad. I needed to get away and not have surgery. My mom had both knees replaced by my age, didn't want to go down that road, and I thought, I know I need collagen. Okay, so start taking this product. In 2.5 months, my knees stopped buckling. Now, I had lost 60 pounds while I was taking the other powdered collagen, because I took it for a long time, and I lost 60 pounds, but my knees kept buckling. And I kept thinking, wait a minute, if I've lost 60 pounds and I'm taking this product over here, shouldn't my knees do better? Right? Less weight, less stress, all of that leads to reason. 2.5 months on here, so that's 2 doses. And I go to the very first convention in Salt Lake City, and I'm walking around the conference, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it hit me like a light bulb. My knees haven't buckled. I haven't had that feel like I'm gonna fall down. Only 2.5 months. And I was like, okay, that's it, I'm done. Well, when I got my package, I did everything, and I turned around. Like I told everybody, I sold everything that I had. I introduced people to it. I got my money back in 4 weeks' time. Can you do this business? Yes, you can. First of all, if your health is not where you want it to be, you have an option. And this is one of the best I've ever seen in my life. So make sure that you get involved. And if you don't know what you're doing, ask your upline. Okay? Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Lena, and I am really thrilled to be here in San Francisco with you guys. I appreciate the invitation to join you. And I just want to tell you a little bit about my story of why I joined Three. So I am a physician, family medicine physician, and I'm also a missionary. So I travel the world and take care of patients who don't have access to medical care. That is the most important thing to me in my life, right? So working here in our system didn't quite feel right. I needed to get out, right? I need to get out into the world and do the thing I'm called to do. Well, I needed some kind of vehicle, right, to get me there. I needed the finances. And so I could work, make a decent salary as a physician, but then the moment I stopped working, I stopped making money. And I needed something that would continue to support me. So I was looking around, trying to decide, how would I do this? What are the options? And I'd done something in this space before, like, first year of med school, like a long time ago. And I hadn't really looked into anything else. And I heard about this company that has, these vitamins and supplements. And I was like, yeah, no. That was my first response, because they aren't absorbed well. As a physician, I did not prescribe vitamins to patients. Doc, should I take one a day? No, you don't need it. Well, why not? You're just gonna pee it out. That's it. You're not gonna absorb it. so it won't help you, right? And so then I was told, no, these are different. They're actually absorbed. And I was like, huh, really? We can help people? Like, we can actually get the supplements and the vitamins where we want them? That was impressive to me. So I went and did the research, I studied things, I talked to Dr. Dan, our fantastic chief scientific officer, I talked to the scientific advisory board, I read everything they would give me because I needed to know that this was real, right? There are a lot of things out there on the market. I wanted to know, like, is this something that actually does what it says it will do? Well, turns out it is. You've just heard the testimonials of people, who are taking these supplements and they're actually working for them. And I thought, wow, that's impressive. Okay, well, that was good. Now, I also needed to know, is this a reputable company? These kinds of companies come and go, right? They're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere. Is this something I can trust? Some people that I can believe in? And I haven't found better people anywhere. There are people who've been in this business for 30 years, right? And people who have experience here who will tell you the leadership team in this company is second to none, and that impressed me. So I was thoroughly impressed with the leadership of the company, and personally, the other thing I needed in order to join was opportunity to learn, right? I'm an expert in something else. Not this. I haven't done this for 30 years, right? I needed to know, is there going to be support for me, right? Will somebody teach me how to do this so that I can be successful at it? And that way I can get to the mission field where I want to be. And the answer to that was a resounding yes. I've got an amazing upline. Every time I contact anyone in my upline, and people who aren't in my upline, like, they will stop and respond to me. And I find that absolutely impressive. So I am here today to say that 3 is changing my life. I'm building a team. I'm preparing, to do the thing that makes my heart sing. But also I'm helping others to live their dreams and to find the vehicle that will actually empower them to go out and do what God has called them to do in the world. So thank you.
All right, well, let's give them all one more hand. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the testimony. It's fantastic.